Welcome everybody to another episode of Opening Break. I'm Ashes, and with me is one of the best coaches now in Halo Infinite, my man Hunter. How are you doing, brother?
I don't know how to do it. I'm doing all right.
No, that's not allowed.
No, I'm doing great. You could just see the smile on my face. I'm big cheesing. It was a fun weekend, and I've been looking forward to this episode in particular. I got a lot to dive into, a lot to chat with you about, and we got to catch up because like you and I didn't get it to hang as much as we normally would over the weekend. Because I mean, I was working, making it kind of deep into the event. So sorry about that.
Doing your thing. No, it's all good. And we missed you on the episode before. We had Mental and Cherish come hang out with us a little bit. But yeah, fresh off event weekend, fresh off of both exciting things and maybe a little bit disappointing things. First off, general vibes of the event. What'd you think of Salt Lake City?
It was actually my first time making it out to an SSG event. I've toured through Salt Lake a bunch and actually played in some of the venues that they've had the events at, but actually never made it to one of their Halo ones. So it was really cool. Like I like the vibes. Like they kind of it almost feels like a mini Halo fan fest, right? Like they got the booths and they're just, they're so passionate about Halo. And so for me, the event itself, like being there in person, a lot of fun from what I did get a chance to experience. And, yeah, I had a blast. What about you, Nick? How did you feel the event was run? How did you feel about the venue, the hotel? Like, what was your experience like?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Salt Lake City. It's beautiful there. I'm a big fan of mountains, so being able to see mountains from the hotel room is always a plus. You're right. Space Station does a fantastic job hosting events. Lots of activities, lots of booths to go check out. I got some time to, kind of walk around and see what all was there. It was cool to see Nemesis have a booth. But yeah, it was a fun event. The venue's always awesome. The hotel's close by, which makes it really nice, and beautiful city. So it was a lot of fun. Obviously not the results that we were hoping for or expected, but it's a learning experience, and if we can't learn from it, then that's the real L. So and I got to support you on Sunday. So
yeah, every loss is a lesson for sure, and like you definitely want to make sure you're building and growing from the disappointing times, right? And yeah, it was interesting. Like it was definitely different being on stage and being like, wait, Nick is watching Mira now instead of the other way around. I mean, I feel like I've watched every series you've ever coached while I've been at an event I've watched. So a little bit of a role reversal there, but I really obviously appreciate your support. And I mean, the support from the org in general. It was a crazy opportunity for me, and to see Complexity show up and show out in a different kind of way, even supporting, quote unquote, the enemy was definitely pretty wild. But before we dive into like Halo results and all that stuff, I want a playlist check in, Nick. What are we listening to? What's been the copium music of choice for you after a unfortunate weekend?
Well, I was really angry that we lost in the way that we did, and so it was a good time for Fit for a King to drop a new album. So yeah, they put out a banger, and I've had it on repeat literally my whole travel day, and yeah, pretty much all of today as well.
I put that album on my drive back, which, by the way, we'll have to talk about my drives because that was just absolutely unbelievable. But my drive back from the event, I put the album on and I was listening to it, and I want to find the name of this song. Oh, Between Us came on. It's kind of like a softer song. Tuck starts singing, brother. Yeah. I was like weeping in the car. Like I literally had to like safely like voice to text Tuck like, you bastard, you made me cry in my car. And honestly, like I was a little shocked by the album because the singles came out and I was like, okay, this is good. This is like typical Fit stuff. Like I'm enjoying it. Kind of sounds a bit of the same. And then the record came out. It's like really, really freaking good. Like I almost feel like they made safe picks with the singles, right? Like, because some of the songs in there are just absolute bangers.
It gave me and I don't mean this at all in an insulting way if anyone could construe it that way, because I also love the band I'm going to reference. It gave me Wage War vibes, like in the sense of it felt like Fit was trying to do like experiment with different styles, kind of mix it up. Like their old albums, it was just like you start track 1 and then we're going to blast your ears off all the way through track 12 or whatever. And this one was like, yo, we can get in your feels a little bit. We can sing cleans a little bit. We can like scream
black
sing
metal
a little bit, like have harsh stuff. And then we can like, go deep and dark, bring in Chris Motionless and let him do his thing. And yeah, it's a sick album.
It was really, my issue with a lot of metalcore albums is, like you said, you just get your ears blasted off. You kind of lose track of what song's what on your first listen. It's kind of all blends together. But this record had so many different vibes in the heavy space that, like, honestly, song to song to song, it was really fresh, really interesting. And I enjoyed the heck out of that listen for sure.
Yeah, great album. Yeah, I'm assuming that's the same for you then, since it was on your drive, your road trip music.
Yes, but also been listening to a lot of Upon the Water unreleased stuff because we're getting ready.
I know what we're doing.
We got some stuff to talk about. I got stuff coming. I guess I'll leak it here on the stream because who cares anyways. But we're dropping our first single in 4 years next week, so we're getting ready to just start cranking stuff out. We just announced our signing to Blood Blast today. So that post is already out, and just starting to get the train rolling on all the music side, the music stuff. So I've been definitely like getting hyped, like listening to the songs, gonna be like, all right, cool, like I'm ready to put these things out. So I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, last post on Twitter at least was December 12th, 2022 from you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you with green hair. Oh man, were we getting the green hair era back?
It was that was a leftover from Halloween that year. We were the Bat family. I was Joker and my wife was Harley Quinn, and then our two boys at the time were Batman and Robin. And I was like, I'm not changing my hair. I'm just gonna keep this thing going. So ready to get active again on the socials, ready to get rolling. And you and I will definitely chat after this about that stuff.
Cool. Well, I think I want to treat this episode. I mean, we're obviously going to talk about the Salt Lake City results and everything, but first off, I think the big thing is you coaching FaZe. Like, tell us about a little how that happened and what the decision process was like for a substitute coach role for the event. Yeah.
So I was back and forth on whether or not I was going to go to the event at all, which a lot of folks knew. And I was pretty much. I had just accepted, like, I'm just going to not make this event, which was a bummer because there's only 3 HDS events, including Worlds. I'm already booked for Worlds, so I won't be able to make that event. So that left me with like 2 events that I could possibly go to for the year. And it just was looking like it wasn't in the cards for me to make it out to Salt Lake. And then Thursday morning, I wake up to a tweet. It was like, I think it was King J. It was just like, hey, TSA held me back. I can't go to the event. This really sucks. Like, best of luck to the boys, whatever. And I play matchmaking with Snakebite and Lucid like pretty much every day, like one or the other. We have great relationships. I've known Trippy for a long time, known Penguin for a long time. So I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna just reach out to Snakebite. I'm sure they're probably stressing. So I messaged PJ and I was like, hey, listen, like I'm 9.5 hours away. I wasn't planning on going, but like if you guys are in a pinch and really need a guy, like let me know. And then he kind of hit me back with like a, hang on one second, I'm gonna talk to HDS. And then afterwards he was like, hey, we've got an extra room. Like HDS gave us the go ahead, like you want to do this kind of deal. And I was like, heck yeah, like that would be sick. And then I realized after I agreed, I was like, wait, I haven't even asked Nick. Yeah. So then I like texted you and I was like, you know, hey, I'm actually gonna go to Salt Lake City after all, and you're not gonna like why.
I know, I was so confused. I was like, what?
And you're just like question marks, and I was like, I'm coaching phase, and you're like, hold on, like pump the brakes, like 1 second. And so then I jump in the shower. You're like, let me check with the bosses. Like, there's a lot of stuff, obviously legally, that goes into that, whatever. And I get out of the shower to text me that's like green look, and I mean green light, like hope I don't got to play you or something like along those lines. And I was like, all right, sick. So, you know, all the boys were stoked to have me. And I pretty much packed up all my stuff and was out of my house like a little after 2 that day, because I was like, man, this drive is gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting how crazy it was going to be. So I leave my house around 2. I hit I'm coming from Southern California, like a little outside of San Diego, about an hour north of San Diego. I hit LA traffic. I hit Vegas traffic, where it was like the 2-lane freeway going into Vegas became 1 because they were cleaning the road. Like that's a good reason to close a whole lane. So I hit LA traffic. I hit Vegas traffic. I hit like, there was like a wreck or 2 in there. Long story short, it took me, I pulled up at 4:30 a.m. the next day. So if you do that math, that's about 14 and a half hours.
Good Lord.
I realized there's a time change, so I do have to subtract 1 hour. So it was only 13 and a half hours, not 14 and a half. But dude, yeah, I've done some really long drives on tour. Obviously, I've been around the country. But I've never been in a vehicle for 14 hours straight. Like that was actually unreal. Shout out to my friends that kept me company. I was on a couple of calls. I talked to Real Life Spartan on the phone for like 2 hours. He was like, hey dude, I know you're on this drive, like I got you, like hit me up. I'll keep you company for a bit. Like, so shout out to Real Life Spartan. I talked to Truman from Kingdom of Giants for almost 2 hours as well. We were catching up. But yeah, man, that drive was like, by the time I got to the hotel, I was like seeing double. I was like blurred vision all across the board. And then I got maybe 2 hours of sleep that night. You know what I mean? I had to jump into coaching the next day. So Friday, I couldn't tell you pretty much anything about the matches on Friday except that we won, because I was just in survival mode the whole day. Like, let me get through this so I can sleep a full night. But no, yeah. So I reached out to those guys and they were super welcoming, super glad to have me. By the time we were done with pool play on Friday, like they had placed their trust in me. And it was a really great feeling, because it's like, dude, you go into a roster like that, you got 3 world champions, you've got, you know, just the pedigree there. You ask yourself the questions like, what can I even bring to this team? You know what I mean? Like, what can I even offer? You know, and so it felt really good by the end of the day to like have that validation for Snakebite to be like, dude, like everything, like we need that. Like, thank you so much for like, I was just kind of honing in on like where the gaps were and what I needed to fill. And it was kind of like, overall, I'm letting them make the big game decisions. If I really see something, I'll let them know, hey, boy, like there was a game where we had a decent lead in a Street Slayer and the other team got camo, and I saw us kind of like playing out of it. I was like, guys, they got camo, everyone play a corner. And they're like, oh shoot, yeah, like, and they jumped in a corner and we were able to like make a play off it. So like little things like that. Obviously times were super crucial, having the countdown timer for power-ups. We had a rough series against Shopify because of that. We were able to lock in on that. I was able to lock in more on that. But most importantly, I think, honestly, above everything else, my goal was like, I'm just going to bring a vibe. I want everyone to have a good time. I want to make sure everyone's like enjoying being around each other. And so, you know, I was out there, I was trying to crack a joke before every series so that, you know, the guys, you just get the guys laughing, just keep the good vibes rolling. And I think that they really appreciated that. They really appreciated like kind of how light it was, because there's a lot riding on this tournament for them. You know what I mean? There's a lot of talk. A lot of hate coming in, the pool situation, the dropping, the player trading situation. So yeah, just trying to crack some jokes. Funny story though. I crack jokes before every series to get them laughing. When we sat down to play SSG on Sunday morning, Champ Sunday, I said, boys, no more jokes for this series. Go fuck those guys up. And that's exactly what they did.
Yeah, that was a convincing win. I remember we talked about it a little bit afterwards. Like the first map was the Fortress Flag, right?
Yeah, that was the
And
mixy one.
that was a little bit back and forth, and then after that, y'all just kind of took control of the series and looked really good.
Yeah, that one. I mean, backstage, people were saying like that was our championship. I was like, guys, we got more matches to play, but it was like that's definitely the match that everyone was like keying in on. Like we want that storyline. We want that match. Like we didn't want them to get knocked out early or us to get knocked out early or to somehow dodge each other in the bracket. Like we wanted to play Space Station like all day, and so it felt good.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think since it's kind of blown over since then, but that was like the big roster move of Roster Mania, right? Like that mix up between FaZe and SSG, trading players 2 for 2. You know, the Trippy Donnie beef of you haven't kissed at grand finals until you team with me kind of thing. Like,
yeah, dude. And even like backstage, like, you know, this in the pro area, everyone's warming up around each other. There's different little bits of mingling and stuff here going on. Like there was like not looking at each other, not talking to each other. Like we don't want to see you. We're not boys with you. Like, and I mean, you know, they're hanging with all their other, you know, talking to their other pro friends, interacting here and there. But with SSG, it was like there was a brick wall up, for good reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And speaking of brick walls, obviously we saw one fall in the grand finals. What'd you think of that?
Dude, I mean, I was not expecting that. I'm gonna be honest. In my predictions, which my predictions were kind of botched now that I go back on them. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are not so much.
I can go find them.
On my predictions, I had Optic first, FaZe second. And so to see, I mean, all the signs leading into the event were saying Optic is unstoppable. I mean, Optic, 4-0'd Shopify in the Pro League, like right before. That was the last glimpse of Optic Shopify we got to see before the event. And Optic 4-0'd them. They hadn't been like Optic had been looking top form. There were question marks about Shopify, like have they taken a step back, blah 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 blah. And then they come out in the winners finals and just put hands all over Optic. And in that moment, I was like, man, like, is this about to finally happen, right? But at the same time, we've seen Optic go to losers 2 events in a row now and still win the event. So shout out to Shopify for closing it out. Also, super fun to get to watch Best Man raise a trophy. He was one of the best players, in my opinion, that never won one as a player. So to see him, you know, get one as a coach, really cool. Really awesome former teammate of mine, a really great friend. And so, yeah, I mean, I love Last Shot. Like, what a guy, super sweet.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a great group of guys, but more for the scene and the storylines. I'm stoked that Shopify won. It definitely makes things interesting for the last 2 events.
Is this the first time that a former free-for-all champion went on to win like a 4v4 championship in Halo?
In Infinite, maybe, but Pistola won back in the day.
Oh, okay.
So Ola had won events, but I think it was like Ola won free-for-all events in Halo 2 and then didn't win a championship till Halo 3. So it was like a game later that it happened. He didn't win any events in Halo 2. Outside of him, I'm trying to think. I mean, like Straysick never won. You know, he was a big free-for-all winner. Yeah, I think so. I think since like this new era. Yeah. I mean, who was so Last Shot was FFA World Champion last year. Do you remember who it was the year before?
Was it Deputy Goober?
I feel like that's like the safe bet, you know? So
yeah,
I think so. And also, I mean, it just really kind of validates that space in the scene where it's like, no, you can get your name out there by performing in free-for-all, doing really well, winning events and people and showcasing your skill, and people take notice, you know. And then Last Shot like was picked up by a pro team basically the next year, and then a year after that he's now winning events. So that's awesome. It was also super validating for me because I've said since year 1 that Cycle's one of the best Infinite players I've ever seen, and everyone thought I was freaking crazy. Like people were like, you're faded, like, well, he's getting top 12 or whatever, you know. And I was like, no, like, watch that dude screen. Like that dude is the absolute truth. And now he's a champion.
Yeah. He former Cole alumni. Last Shot almost a Cole alumni. We were close to picking him up at one point.
We're trying.
Yeah, it's good to see those guys win. I'm happy for him. Obviously, a fan of Frosty and World 2 as well, and champions in their own right. Just kind of reminding everybody that they still got it. So, and it was cool to see. You know, like I was joking, like I was excited. I was rooting for Shopify. I was obviously rooting for you. And
Hmm.
then once you guys lost, I was rooting for Shopify. And I didn't want to be that guy, but also like I wanted to just a different team to win. Like I
Yeah,
didn't
the
want to
scene
see
is better.
Optic do their thing. And then I was sitting there, I'm like, man, does that make me a hater? Am I like one of those people that like when we were doing it in Gears as Optic, like one of those people who just wanted to see us lose because, just because we were winning everything?
I was gonna
Like,
say, I don't
no,
think you
I
can be
get
a
it.
hater when you're like Optic alumni. Like when you're like former Optic. I mean, unless you come out and say I hate Optic gaming, I don't think that it comes across that way. I think it's like you and I come from the same place where we want to see the scene thrive, and like the more teams you have winning these events, the more interesting the storyline becomes. It's
Yeah.
not just like a sweep and like kind of boring. You know what I mean? To kind of know what's going to happen before it happens, and this sets up, in my opinion, a really interesting finish to the season. I'll throw it out there. Why? I think
Okay.
I'm just going to be biased. It's going to come across as biased. I don't really care. I think Optic, Shopify, and FaZe all have a shot at winning out.
Hmm.
Space Station sucks. They have no chance. The gap between them and the other three teams is just too wide. But like the way that those teams play each other, it's like every game in those series were teetering, right? It like could
Hmm.
go either way. And like for us, like we lost to Optic 3-1. We weren't super stoked about it. But even then, like when we lost, especially when we watch back the film after, there's so many moments where it's like, oh man, like look at how we're shooting ourselves in the foot, and then we have to
Yeah.
make a crazy play, and then we make a crazy play, and we keep things interesting, and it just became like a okay, cool, like we can hang, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
prior to that event, Optic had never dropped a round in live fire oddball with this roster, not a single round, and we pushed it to round 3, and it was like takes Renegade literally hitting montage clips on us to like squeak out a win, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And round one honestly could have been yours. Like they went up what, like 60 to something,
mhm,
and then you guys brought it back and like it was really close. I thought you guys were gonna be able to win that round.
we like missed a play ball or something down the
Yeah.
stretch, you know what I mean? That ends up like hurting us really bad. So like it really came down to moments, some really amazing individual plays from Optic, like you see, like you can't take that away from them, but also two phase were just like, oh wow, like we're right there, you know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
the newest roster of the three. We've had to put things together, and they've just been building and building and building, and so yeah, I really do think that they have a shot. And then obviously Shopify have a shot, so I think that we have like a really interesting three team race to finish out the season.
Yeah. I also like the idea that Shopify, didn't win the first event. They were close. The first event in Arlington, right? They choked the grand finals,
It's
right?
like game
Because they
7 or something.
yeah, because
It
they came
was,
from the
yeah,
winner side, right?
yeah.
Choked the grand finals, didn't have as good of a performance at DreamHack Dallas, and no changes, just stuck to their game plan, kept working through the fact that teams weren't scrimming them as much, and now win the event. It's I was telling our guys a little bit about it, and I know Optic's done it before, but it's just weird to me that you can win a grand finals by winning only one OBJ and all your Slayers. And
Yeah,
that's
because of
it.
the best of 7 situation, right? Because it ends up having
Yeah.
3 Slayers in there. It kind of
It,
flips the whole thing on its head from the whole rest of the event.
and it's not like a diss towards Shopify. Like I think they were the better team this event. I even said it to you, I think, backstage. Like I think Shopify can win this event because like just after the way we played them. Like we played them and I wasn't terribly disappointed in our performance against them. Like they just looked really good. But that made me confident, like, okay, they're coming different, and I hadn't seen that yet from Optic. Optic was doing their normal, like, slowly ramping up as the event went on. But yeah, it's just weird to me, man. Like a grand finals, I feel like they need to adjust that. I feel like it shouldn't be 3 Slayers in a best of 7.
It's a bit excessive for sure, but like you kind of have to have that. I mean, 3 of 7 is that's still not majority though, right?
Yeah.
It's still, a minority. But in my opinion, so I've always felt like Slayer should be game 5 only, right? In my opinion, it's like if Slayer was game 5 only, it's kind of a toss-up game type. If you've both won 2 objectives, then you've earned the right to be in the toss-up game type, right? And I kind of feel like 3 in the best of 7 is okay because at that point you've earned your way into the grand finals. Like you've earned your way into some of those more like toss up,
Yeah.
who's going to make a play type game types. You know what I mean? Like I almost dislike the 2 in a best of 5 more than I dislike the 3 in a best of 7. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then from like a spectator standpoint, like it's just lit. You know, it's just absolute chaos. But I do understand the frustration for sure. But yeah, we'll have to see. Like now, you know, targets on their back, Shopify. Now Optic has something to work for because it did seem like, you know, maybe they took their foot off the gas in practice a little bit. You know, like they were still on their thing, but you could tell like it's hard to stay a champ, dude. Like, I mean, I give Bound and
Yeah.
Legend so much credit for being 5-time champs because like once you've won, like you want to take that breath, right? Like you want to take a breather. You've worked so hard to get to that point. So we'll have to see how Optic responds and how Shopify, you know, if they're able to maintain that grind. I hope they're not planning any long vacations.
I just want to say a message to Shopify. You're welcome. Okay. We're going to take partial credit, Complexity, for your championship because we canceled. I accidentally double booked our Tuesday before the event scrim. I booked it with, I guess I forgot that I had it with Optic and it wasn't on our calendar, and I booked with FaZe, and we committed to playing FaZe, and I canceled on Optic like the day before when they checked to make sure we were still good, and I don't think they replaced that scrim. So I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying maybe we're one of the only teams that will scrim Slayers, and like we'll do all 20 maps every scrim. So, you know, maybe like that scrim against us, they would have picked up a flaw in their Slayer game, and they would have picked up a Slayer in the grand finals, and you know, it might look so. You know, Shopify, we laid it up there for you.
A little edge. You gave him a little edge.
That's
Can we talk for a second
Reddit.
though about how awesome it is when oh, by the way, I see you guys in the chat. Good to see you, Patty. Synity, really appreciate the conversation we had. That meant a lot. That was one of the highlights of my weekend. Forehead, appreciate you always coming through. Noodle, thanks for clarifying. But can we talk about how awesome it is when all the top 4 teams actually perform in pools and there's no cheese side of the bracket, like where it's you know, where it's like evenly spaced out across the board into the winners bracket? Like that to me was like, I saw that and I was like, let's go. Like there's actually going to be some consistency to the placings, and you know, no golden roads here.
Yeah, I'm definitely appreciative of that. Like it obviously I wanted us to beat SSG. I could tell. So we'd been in I guess we'll just go ahead and get into it. Like we had been in a funk for 2-ish weeks, maybe a little bit longer, leading up to the event. And we were not doing the things that I think we should have done to get out of the funk. I think we were just burned out a little bit. And a lot of mentalities on the team were to just head down, keep grinding through it. And I am not a dictator, as we learned in the offseason. So...
the keys, man, the keys.
Yeah, I let them rock, and they nose to the grind and kept going. But the same mistakes that we were making online were the mistakes that we made at LAN. We beat Omit. You know, we had slightly better teamwork, but way better individual skill. And I think like that is what carried us through in there. And I think Omit was having their own issues as well. They weren't playing.
They were a troubled roster for sure.
Yeah,
they were very troubled.
They're not playing up to their potential, and I think there's stuff going on. So, you know, none of my business.
Yeah.
But we, I could tell even from that series, like we 3-0'd them, and Ryan said the same thing. Like we played well enough to beat them. We were playing really well individually. Like we're winning gunfights against them, but like the teamwork that we need is not there to beat Space Station. And so we tried to focus on that, but it was so flat, and it stayed flat the whole weekend, and it was the same stuff that's online. And we started getting like slightly better. Like I think we played Shopify a little bit better than we played SSG. Honestly, I think if we had played against Shopify the same way, if we played against SSG the same way we played against Shopify, we had a better chance against SSG. But I mean, it's just dumb stuff that we're letting slip through the cracks, and it's honestly kind of baffling on one point. But yeah, disappointing performance. We played Shopify first round of, you know, the bracket. That sucks. They're the number 1 team, but you got to beat everyone to win. Fell to them. Had TSM for our first match and lower because they went 0-2 or 1-2, sorry, in their pool. And that was a match that we were confident we could win, and we were just the same flatness. And even then, every game was relatively close.
I
But
mean, dude,
it
it took
just
Manny going on like almost a running riot in your base to secure that assault game for them.
yeah,
It was
the
crazy.
assault we had no business losing. It was just like really stupid stuff, and I think there was like a blank melee in there, but like I don't like focusing
Yeah,
on blank melees and stuff because why are we in the situation where the bomb is in our base anyways? You know what I mean?
100%.
So yeah, it was just a super disappointing performance out of us. I'm hoping now that the guys will take my input on practice frequency a little bit more seriously.
Hmm.
But yeah, we definitely have some stuff to solve before we get to the next event. So
Well, that kind of leads me into a segment that I wanted to touch on.
okay,
And you're gonna have to stay out of this, just because of who you are and what you do. But prior to the event, a couple weeks ago, I started a brand new segment called the Hot Seat.
oh,
And I don't know if you remember this, but the last person that was left in the hot seat was Snakebite.
yes,
Boy, he took that seat and threw it out the window and got up and got out. Like by the end of pool play at this event, that boy was rocking a 1.4, like one of the top KDs in the whole
oh
tournament.
yeah,
I'm watching his screen. He's making absolute god plays. Just like I don't have enough words to say how brilliant this guy is. Like watching his screen, so like I have to. I almost wanted to retire the entire segment because of how badly he got out of that hot seat. But that leaves us with a new occupant for the hot seat, and unfortunately, this new recipient of the title will not be able to relinquish the seat until after another LAN event because of the
Oh.
performance that I saw this weekend.
okay,
And so you're hearing it first on the show. I'm putting King Nick in the hot seat. You played
oh,
terribly, like god awful. Like get your act together and get back in the lab, because that was one of the worst LAN performances I've seen, especially after talk online about being one of the best players in the game. I was one of them. I was bought in, but after what I saw this last weekend, boy, you better get your act together and in a hurry, because you're now the hot seat occupant.
all right, I'll let him know. In fact, I have a text from him right now, actually. The guys are all talking about controllers and new skins and stuff like that. So
I don't want to hear nothing about skins. I want to hear about scrims. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Snakebite was unbelievable. Glad to take him out of the hot seat. King Nick, you're in the mix. You got to freaking get your act together. Because, dude, Cherish was... Woo! Cherish was going
frying.
nuts this weekend. Cherish
Yeah.
was going absolutely insane this weekend. That boy was a man on a mission. I mean, the Slayer against TSM, he had like 20 kills or something like that.
Yeah.
Like you could tell he wanted that one. I was watching him just hit every bullet like throughout you guys' pool play matches, like playing really, really well. Ryan as well. Mental is kind of like always consistent, so I'm not really worried about him. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, great performance from Joey. Hoping to see more of that the rest of the season. And we got 2 events. We got to close it out strong, Nick. It's time to lock it in.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely seemed like the guys were. Joey was really consistent and doing really well. He was popping off. Billy was. It was funny actually. I critiqued Billy. Oh gosh, what series was it? It was like. Oh, I don't remember. It might have been after the SSG series. Or maybe I don't know. At some point I critiqued him though. I was like, "Oh, Billy, like, are you good? Like, you seem to be like losing fights that I normally don't see you lose." He was like, "What do you mean? Like, I feel like I'm doing well." And I was like, "Look, I mean, I'm not looking at the scoreboards. I just know like when I'm cycling between people's screens, it felt like a lot of times in that series I'd stop on your screen to watch what you're doing and like help calm for you." And I watch you like lose a 1v1 when you're shot up or something like that, or just something bad, like not like throw a melee way too early, or just like you look uncomfortable. And I just want to make sure you're good, man. Make sure
you good,
going
bro.
on.
Everything good at home, like
literally, right? Like blink twice if Joey's holding you hostage in the hotel room or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, "No, I'm good." And then the next series, he was pissing. And he goes, Ash, you see I'm pissing on these kids. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I see. Okay, my bad. But it's weird, right? And now you can attest to it. Like when you cycle through, like looking at different monitors, like sometimes you only see one person like just get shit on over and over again. And you're like, oh man, I wonder if something's going on with this person. Like, I wonder if they're not comfortable on the map or whatever, because you don't get to see every single kill that they get, countering that.
Yeah, totally. And I had kind of not that exact experience coaching phase, but I mean, by the way, like I'm a little disappointed, Nick. You never warned me that coaching was a million times more stressful than actually playing. like I'm just watching, I'm just giving the information and hoping the boys make the right reads, but I have no control over anything. Like I can't
Yep.
stand there and watch that angle with snipe. Like I gotta thankfully I'm trusting for the dopest Halo players around. Like I'm watching that, but I had the reverse effect where I wasn't watching any one person in particular like struggle individually, but I was watching Legend just get away with murder, bro. Like I mean, 2 shots down, last guy alive in there, A setup with ball, hit the drop slide with ball, rat tunnel, and then hit sprint strafe on Trippy, like basically no shields, like get that kill and get the ball out, like sliding into our full setup as first guy up on spawn, catching perfect timing, just landing in the middle of everyone and killing one guy, getting another guy weak and getting away. Like, so there was like a lot of that kind of stuff where I was like, oh my gosh, like this kid is really a demon on the map. And like to see the stuff he's getting away with against like some of the best players in the world was like criminal. You know what I mean? And it's like, at that point, you just got to tip your hat and be like, man, they had us, in that series. He had us in that series. But I know FaZe will have an answer for him next time.
Yeah, Legend is definitely, I think, crucial to Optic's playstyle because he can do so much and not die quickly. Like he can get, like you said, he can get right. It's very similar to FaZe, or sorry, not to FaZe, to Envy. Like I think Envy, some of their players do the same thing. Like they'll G slide in, get in the mix, get somebody hurt, but often like the good teams will capitalize on that and just be like, oh, free kill, and then finish them and then turn to the next person. But
his
Legend
instincts are perfect, dude. Like there's a lot of people, especially now having watched the highest level, a lot of different teams. There's a lot of players that are like kind of scam artists, I would say. Like, and I understand what they're going for, but it seems like they're all kind of trying to chase what Legend is doing, and Legend is one of one. You know what I mean? Like having that intuition. I mean, Renegade is very similar. Don't get me wrong. Renegade is very similar, but Renegade is a lot more like he's grabbing weapons. He's, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Whereas like Legend is like a power weapon off spawn every time he drops into the map. And there's a lot of players that I think are, they're trying to be that minus the talent, minus the timing, minus the instincts, you know what I mean? And yeah, he's a special kind of player. And honestly, I wasn't even planning on bringing this up. I think he gets picked up by a pro team on COD. I honestly, I see it happening. I see the conversations. There was like a CDL community tweet that like got put on my For You page. That was hilarious. It was just COD people in the COD scene like debating back and forth, and they were like, how frustrating is it that there's all these players that have been working in challengers for so long for these spots, and everyone is just hyping up some Halo kid like he's going to come in and it's like and take people's spots. And there's like flat out COD kids that are like, well, we've seen Shotzi, well, we've seen Frosty, well, you know what I mean? Like we've seen Formal. Like when you see a generational Halo talent coming through, like you kind of make room. And at this point, if you're a COD org, you just kind of you take a risk based on the fact that it might pan out. You might have a franchise player, you know what I mean? So yeah, I think that folks have taken notice of him for sure.
Take Woodham as well.
They don't have mouse and keyboard in the COD.
They should. Do they not? Are you not allowed to play?
It's not allowed. No, you're not allowed to play it in CDL.
I feel like I don't believe you.
Okay, well then look it up.
I am. I'm gonna look it up. I don't think I see like any official rule books. Oh, required to use controllers. Mouse and keyboard will not be allowed. That's dumb. Anyways, yeah, they should allow it because I feel like Woodham would be another one of those players who could. And I know I gas up Woodham all the time, but like if you watch his POV in Halo, he's relatively consistent.
It's not fair.
It's a different game. In fact, this is something I think you and I might have talked about it, or I mentioned it to somebody, but like I feel like if you got players in Halo who are like familiar with Halo, like familiar with how Halo plays, because it's very different than other games and it's different than there's a lot more depth to it than people think about. I think if you got people who are familiar with how Halo plays, you don't have that learning curve, and who are good at mouse and keyboard in other games, like Mental is good at CS or Precision's really good at Valorant, like players like that, let them play mouse and keyboard, I feel like that would up the skill ceiling of Halo a good amount,
Oh,
honestly.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think that the way I view it is, I think we're lucky that Halo hasn't been on PC as long as these other games. Like, because we've already seen 3 breakthrough play. Like, it's, year 4 of Infinite. There's already 3 pro players on mouse and keyboard, and you watch any of their screens, and they're like game changingly good, especially with power weapons, sniper rifles, all that. There was actually a point in time where I don't want to speak out of turn here, but it was kind of teetering. It was looking like Royal 2 was considering switching, because he actually is really good on mouse and keyboard, and some of the stuff he was doing on mouse and keyboard was just ridiculous. At the time, it was like still BR meta and stuff, so who knows? Like, if we would have started with Bandit off rip, like, I don't even know. Like, that, it just caters so much to the input. But I mean, Woodham is unbelievable. I mean, I was watching back our series earlier against them, the first series, and it's like he's like sliding into danger zones, checking every single angle, like on a 360-degree pivot instantly, like instantly, like like, and then immediately on to the person. Like, he had a play where he slid from batteries into like neither on recharge. He like slid in towards like the red door, and he literally checked top A, and Trippy started shooting him from pipe door, and he immediately snapped all the way from top A into pipe door into the fight, to the point where Trippy had to back up from the fight. Like, he didn't even get a full shot up in the fight because of how fast he was able to come all the way back around with the aimer and be on the danger. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that, where it's like, or like running a flag, like throwing the flag, completely checking behind you, and then checking back to the flag before you even hit the ground on the jump. Like, it's just such an like this. The ceiling for mouse, keyboard, and Halo is ridiculous. Like,
that's
ridiculous.
What I'm saying. I think the whole game elevates, and I'd be really curious to see, like, if you got really good players who could do that. I wonder what the game would look like at a pro level. Like, I wonder if there would be new players in the mix at the top, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like, how much would you gain versus how much would you lose? Because kids would just be gone. Like, some of these controller players, like, I mean, I was hyped about, Splitgate 2 and playing that, and I was enjoying it, and then got into ranked and realized it is impossible to be as good at this game as I want to be without being on mouse and keyboard, because of how fast you need to portal and everything else. And like how high that raised the ceiling. And I'm a good mouse and keyboard player. Like, I was royalty in H1Z1. I was top 5 in PUBG. Like, I was diamond in Valorant, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm decent at mouse and keyboard. And even then, it's like, I look at some of those kids and I'm like, that's just a mountain that's too high for me to reach. So you have to kind of balance that, right? Like, how high do you want to allow your skill ceiling to go versus how accessible your game is for folks coming in that want to like get involved.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know, man. That's a world I dream of. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see it since we only have 2 events left. But if there was a season 5, man, I'm trying to grab Woodham, Scoobmeister.
Can we get them all on a team for one thing? Like, can we get Rice, Scoob, Woodham? Like,
that's what I'm saying, man. Just one super keyboard and mouse team and see what happens.
Yeah, that would be nuts. I do want to chat about pools though.
Yeah.
And how they kind of shook out. Was there any surprises to you in pool play, and the way that those pools kind of turned out? Oh my gosh, you got it ready. Let's go.
Oh, you know me. You know what? I don't think that there was anything terribly surprising. I think the pool that everyone had their eyes on was the pool that you were in. FaZe, Nemesis, TSM, and then Ether getting thrown into that pool too is interesting. I actually, there's another one I can point out too, but I think that that was the pool that everyone had question marks about. I think FaZe has been looking really good, so I'm not surprised that you guys went 3-0.
Best 10 seed ever, or what?
Yeah, right. I think that like, I can see Nemesis beating TSM, but I can also see TSM beating Nemesis. So it's like, it's kind of a toss up in my mind of like which one of those teams came in second, but I'm not surprised, right? I wouldn't have been surprised either way. I feel like Ether has been looking rough lately, and I felt like Ether could have come in and make an upset happen in that pool.
I would
like Mindfreak.
I would agree, were it not for their previous LAN resume as well. They always seem to underperform on LAN. Like, I just don't understand what that hump is. I don't know if they're just all cheating online. Just kidding. I really don't mean that. Or like, what is the mental hurdle that they need to overcome to where they can come into a pool and win a series at this point? Because before, I mean, even in years past, they were at least getting out of pools and getting top 12. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't scratched top 8, but they were at least making things interesting. unfortunately for them in year 4 of Infinite, there's no easy roads. Like there's no easy pool, and I feel for
Yeah.
them in the pool they landed in for sure. But I also feel for Mind Freak in the pool they landed in, and they still were able to make moves and get out of that pool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, it definitely was a rough draw there for them. Teams that stood out to me, you know, I feel for Omit. They've been a troubled team. They've got to figure some stuff out. But shout out to Kraken Seas, right? I think they were
Yeah.
them and Mind Freak both came out of open into pools and were able to win a series, get out of pools. Envor, I don't know what it is. He's just an automatic top 12. Like no matter what roster he's on, he's looking disgusting. Suspector was looking great as well on Kraken Seas. Suspector statting a little bit though. I will say there was a ball game they could have won, but he was like going off on tangents with Red Gun instead of just grabbing the ball and like at least getting it to a teammate.
Yeah.
But shout out to them for kind of pulling things through. Unreal Nightmare, unfortunate for them. It looks like Haynes is actually retiring. Him and his wife are, you know, trying to start a family, so that things are switching up there a bit.
We'll see.
Alpha had a great showing in open. It's interesting to me, like Alpha Luminon, it gets dominated by Ether in all the LATAM online cups, and then always makes it out through winners. And Ether's kind of been scraping by lately. I mean, Ether almost didn't make it out. They went to Game 5 BTH. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, as far as like the top 2 teams in each pool go, I will say it was what I was expecting. I was not expecting TSM to beat Nemesis. I was hoping we would beat Space Station. I thought that might be the one shakeup in the pools where, like, you know, we could come out in first in that pool.
Yeah.
That didn't pan out. Shopify did work in their pool, and Optic finally winning a pool. You know what I mean? So they kind of showed up in the way they wanted, but yeah, that was kind of my standouts. Interesting to see what sort of team changes are going to happen. You got 2 events left. You got to swing for the fences now. If you're any one of these teams that sort of underperformed, didn't quite land where you wanted to land, screw, like at this point, it's like you kind of got to forget about orgs and sponsors and everything else and just go for whatever the best team you possibly can put together is for this next event.
Yeah, I think with 2 events left, where I think we're going to see roster changes. I don't think it'll be a full-blown roster mania. Like, if you just go down the list, right? Like, Optic's not going to make a change. Shopify clearly is not going to make a change. I don't see FaZe making a change. I don't think Space Station will make a change. So you got your top 4 kind of taken care of. Who came 5th, 6th? That was TSM and Nemesis. I mean, what would Nemesis do, right? Like, I think they have the 4 best players in Europe. Sika retired. So from Zero Tenacity is not even the org anymore for that team. So I don't even know what that team's going to do.
Yeah.
And that'll probably kind of dissolve that 3rd place European team because, you know, one of those players is likely going to get called up.
Yeah.
So there's not really anything I think Nemesis can do. I think TSM, you know, that's the friendship club. I don't think they're going to make a change. If anything, they just need to practice more.
They got to work on consistency. I don't know what that looks like. I do. And, you know, I had a conversation with Trey yesterday on the phone. We caught up for a bit, which is funny because Trey, coach of TSM, myself, he's one of my best friends in life. Mm-hmm. He was in my wedding. I was in his. We ride or die, like kind of for life type deal. And we rolled up to this event on different teams, and I had to coach against them first match. And from the second I walked in the venue, we didn't look at each other. We didn't say a word to each other. We are both like such competitive dogs that it was like, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you're the enemy this weekend. We'll catch up after. You know what I mean? Yeah. And literally, I didn't hang out with Trey. We didn't talk. We didn't do anything all weekend long. But we were catching up yesterday. And what he was saying was like, he's trying to get through to his players. Like, listen, like, we might have gotten third the event before, but we were not the 3rd best team of that event. We had the golden road. Like, we cannot sit here and act like we're better than we are. We have to lock in and find some consistency. We have to like buy into a system. We have to like not just rely on running around and hoping for the best, you know what I mean? Because we're really talented. So it'll be interesting to see what TSM does and whether or not they're able to kind of pull it together to close out this season strong.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think like what else. I'm going to go back because we can look at the kind of the standings here or the upper bracket. I don't see Cloud9 making a change because again, like I think their team is relatively new with Collect and Avicii on it, and I don't think anyone stood out as like underperforming. So assuming their chemistry is there, which based on the videos I saw Collect posting on Twitter, it seems like they're having a good time together. And plus like they were close, man, 3-2 against SSG. And I mean, they got 3-0'd by Nemesis, but like I'm pretty sure some of those games were really close. So I don't see them making a change. I've already started scheduling scrims with Envy, so I'm assuming they're not making a change. We're not making a change. So I mean, of course, last time I said that, I woke up to the text, so fingers crossed. But as of
I
right
can't
now,
trust anything you say at this point. I don't know. You're dropping the whole team or something. I don't know.
you're the
picking
key
up
holder.
picking up Omit because that's who. Yeah. Anyways,
You're the key holder.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, I think there will be, like, obviously you said Haynes is retiring, so we're going to see that Unreal Nightmare team make changes. Kraken Seas will likely make changes. I know
The top 8 looks pretty locked down, right? Like the top 8 looks pretty locked down.
I think the top 8 looks pretty locked down, so I don't think we'll see a massive roster mania unless C9 or Envy decide to make a change, which I don't see happening.
Yeah. Time will tell. We've been wrong before.
Yeah, no kidding. So we talked about pools. Any bracket play matches that stood out to you?
That Optic Space Station series was crazy.
Yeah, it was actually.
That was crazy. That was Space Station convincingly up 2-0. Optic wins game 3, and I go, I've seen this movie before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, even to go back before that, Space Station Cloud9, that was a crazy series too.
Mm-hmm.
That was like Cloud9 was 2-1 up in that series in the driver's seat, like looking like they were about to make things happen. And that didn't work out.
Cloud9 and choking the Space Station in Salt Lake City. Name a better duo.
In a game 5 too. Like, oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. So definitely that Space Station Optic match looked interesting to me. I was like, man, is Space Station good? But Optic, like, Optic figured it out. And then against Shopify, I mean, we just came out so flat, dude. Like we lost 4-0 in King of the Hill Solitude to start things off.
Mm-hmm.
And then we won the Slayer, and then the other 2 games, like we just weren't on top of our power-ups and power weapons, and like that's technically on me. And I did make even more emphasis, like after that series, to say less about everything else on the map and just be super, super locked in on power-ups and power weapons for the rest of the tournament. So I'll take the L on Shopify on that series. Our series with Envy was, I mean, it was a 3-0. Envy is a great team, but I just think that I had really felt like every match that we had played throughout pools, and even this round 1 was setting us up for Shopify and Space Station, because we kind of played like the miniature versions of those teams, like the teams that are just so fast, like TSM and Nemesis, you know what I mean? And then Ether, and then we played Envy. And it's like we kind of played 4 versions of the same team.
Yeah.
So I was definitely bummed that we didn't do better in that Shopify Rebellion match. And the main reason that I was upset that we lost that match is because I told the boys, if we win this series, I'm winning the Coach of the Event award, and I want it. I
want it so bad. I'm so sick of seeing Lunchbox get it.
I wanted to win coach of the event so bad, and that didn't happen. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, if you look at that bracket, it kind of plays out exactly how it's supposed to. All the top 2 seeds make it to the winners finals, and then the first seed wins out. So I'll have to see what happens. I do want to know a little bit more about the Shopify series with Complexity, though, because you said I wasn't able to watch that one. You did say that you felt like you guys had played better that series. Was it like 3-0, like blowout? Were the games teetering? Was it just, did it come down to moments? Like, how did that kind of pan out that way?
It was 3-0. The only game that was a blowout was the Slayer. The very first, or sorry, let's see, which one was game 1? Was it Forbidden? I think Forbidden was game 1, and I think we were actually up 2-1 in that, if I remember right, and we lost 3-2. That was just one of the, like, we're good at Forbidden Flag, but there was just some kills that didn't go our way. But I think we had a good read of what they wanted to do and a better read of what we wanted to do, and we were executing it. And it just like became one of those things where like one person messes up and like you can't do that against Shopify because they catch you. So that one was like, I felt like we could have won that game very easily. The Recharge Slayer, they slammed us, like, to put it nicely. It was 50-34, and like the fact that we didn't get staked is a blessing. The Live Fire Oddball, I think they 2-0'd us, but it was it felt very back and forth until it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
and I'm pretty sure one of those rounds, like because it came down to time or something like that, and we very easily could have won it and just kind of didn't close it. Like lost a fight, they got ball, they got a little bit more time, and then they set up to play ball last second. So even like the oddball when we're down 0-2, it felt like it was doable. And oddball live fire is not like a good game mode for us by any means, but
Which is odd because a Rhino team, like I would expect all the ball games to just be like so scrappy, so mixy, so rotational. Like
you would think, but we've been playing like dickheads for a while now, so
there you go.
It's just they were looking championship form, and like even then, like when we had them on the back foot, it never felt like we really had them trapped. Like there's sometimes like you can kind of like I'm sure you felt it in that Space Station series, right? Like that Slayer on Streets, like you could tell, like okay, like the score is like in our favor by 7 kills, but like this isn't even close.
Yeah, we have full. The map is locked down. You know, what I mean?
And that never, to me as a coach watching it, never came through in the Shopify series. Like even when we're up on the Forbidden Flag, even when we're doing our thing, it didn't feel like okay, we got this on lock. Like we have.
It still feels like you make one mistake and it's going to be over. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Which I mean, it's Shopify, and that's always going to be the case, right? They're just that talented, but it just didn't feel like that level of control, and that's when you can. For me as a coach, I'm a little bit more comfortable. So yeah, like Shopify just they looked good, man. They looked at championship form, and after that series, I was like, yep, like this makes it like I can see them winning this event.
Yeah.
So yeah, it sucks that we had to play them first round, but congratulations to them, right?
I mean, out of the 1 seeds there, like who would you have wanted to play? You know what I mean? Like you had already played Space Station, so that leaves either Shopify, FaZe, or Optic. I mean, yeah, that's probably the one matchup that you could have thought you had a shot in.
No, I think we match up well. Like our play style and our system matches up well against FaZe. I think we've never beat SSG, like online or on LAN, obviously. And we know that we've had close series with them. We beat them in a scrim really early on after the roster change. But and when it comes to like an open or anything like that, we've never actually beat them. So I feel like that one in pool play was a tough task. Something that we knew we could do if we were playing well. Like if we were playing how we were 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, whenever that pool play qualifier was, or the Pro League qualifier even. We could have beat them, but the way we've been playing the last 3 weeks, like we maybe should get a map. But
I mean, and we had history in the past of beating FaZe online in the opens and stuff too, so I can understand where that conference would be. I think for me, the biggest switch up that I saw firsthand with the FaZe roster between online, because online they were trending in the right direction, but they were still having their ups and their downs. One of the biggest difference makers for me that I saw them online put to work was the Slayers. We went 8-0 in Slayers for the tournament, for the entire tournament.
That's nuts.
We were. I took a picture of the stat that came up on broadcast. It was actually out of control. At that time, we had only played 6 series, so we were 6-0 in Slayers. At that moment, we were first place in every single Slayer stat. So like, margin of victory, like time leading, average damage, like we were first place in average lives. Like everyone's average life was like, deaths per minute. That's what it was. Everyone's deaths, like our deaths per minute as a team was like 1.1, which means like averaged out, everyone's averaging just about 1 death a minute. Like that's kind of crazy when you think about it. And then I'm not kidding, we were dead last, 12th place. We were dead last in kills per minute. Dead last in kills per minute. Like that just tells you how we wanted to play. We just locked the map down. We would get a lead early on. We would pin them in a spot and we would just have guns up and not even try to push it or force or anything. Just like everybody guns up, statues, they're about to come out. Like just watch all the exits. And even when we would get kills there, we wouldn't push out. We would just stay in the same spots. All right, we got 2 of them down. They ran back. The rest of them come out spawn. Just keep looking. Like that's literally how it was, like systematic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it was funny because of, all the drama with the space station. Like, you got like Trippy, you're not fast enough, or Snake Bites Wash, or this and that. They're too slow. Like, we literally put hands on every single team in the event on Slayers as basically the slowest team there. You know what I mean? So,
even I think that slow and control way, like assuming that everyone plays their positions really strong and knows where their teammates are, which it looked like you guys were doing a good job of. I think that is a really good win condition for a Slayer.
Hmm.
And I mean, it showed. Like, you guys held control. You guys were undefeated. And so, did you lose a Slayer to Opping? No, you guys
No,
got
we beat
3-1.
them in the
So,
Slayer. Yeah, we beat them in
so
the
like,
Slayer.
you finished the event undefeated in Slayers, right?
Yeah, 8-0.
Clearly, something's working there.
Yeah. And so the trick was trying to figure out, and we didn't master it, and I'm sure the boys are going to continue to work on it, was trying to figure out how to approach the other game types where you have an objective. When you have objective, it kind of puts that pressure in your mind, but it's like you can still approach the game the same way. You just got to not buy into the chaos of like, oh, but they're pulling the flag, oh, but they're in the hill, oh, but they're capping the
Yeah.
stronghold. You know what I mean? So trying to figure out how to make that work. Let's take a look at the losers bracket though. I want to see how that all played out. You see there, Nemesis, Mind Freak. What an unfortunate first round losers bracket match for Mind Freak, right? I mean, Barcode having such an event, looking true to form, and back with his countrymen. They were doing so well. And unfortunately for them, ran into the buzzsaw. That's Nemesis, a guaranteed lock top 6 team basically in round 1. Any of these round 1 matchups stand out to you besides the TSM one? Obviously, that one hurt. Was hoping for a much different turnout, but anything in this, let's just go losers bracket in general. Like anything here play out in a way that you were not expecting.
Well, I do want to say that Nemesis Mind Freak match was probably one of the quickest match in terms of like in-game movement because of the 3 mouse and keyboard players in that series.
I gotta watch that back just for that. That's
yeah,
insane.
Right? I'm surprised that Nemesis 3-0'd Cloud9. I thought Cloud9 might have put up a little bit more of a fight, but I think I saw a Vusi tweet about how like some of these matches were really close. Yeah, nothing really stood out. It all kind of went how I would have guessed. Like TSM Envy going game 5. I'm pretty sure, didn't TSM start that off like 23-2 or something like that? That game 5 Slayer.
It was bad. I know it ended 50-36. I don't know when it started.
So I'm surprised that ended in that fashion, but I'm not. I wouldn't have been surprised if either team won. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally.
Those teams are very similar in my mind in terms of like they can either pop off and be a top 4 team, or they can fall flat and be a top 8 team.
Yeah.
So yeah, in terms of lower bracket, nothing really surprised me other than, I guess the phase, like you guys in phase 3-0ing SSG, the way map 1 went, I was like, oh, this is going to be a good series. Like this is going to be close. And then it was like, you guys were like, all right, y'all had your appetizer, but kitchen shut down for the rest of the night.
Yeah, in my mind, and I didn't want to say this to the guys before the series because I don't want to like jinx it, you know what I mean, or anything like that. But in my mind, I was like, if we win game 1, we win the series because we weren't going to lose the Slayer. Like we just are too systematic for that. The level of consistency I saw on the Slayers was like I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. And as long as I've been in the scene, and so once we squeaked out that overtime, last second overshield grab, last second cap the flag. To win game 1, I was like, I think this might be it. And like by the end of game 2, you can tell that Space Station was just checked, just completely checked. And then we 3-0 them in the bomb game, which was one
bomb
of
didn't look close either.
Our other like best game types was the bomb game. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting. Like I've never coached before, let alone coached like as the opposition. Like we were definitely the enemy, like the villains. Like we're in the hometown of Space Station. Yeah. We could hear, like every time. Even when we're winning, every time Space Station makes even a small play, the crowd is going absolutely insane. Like they're going so loud. And then as time went on, as the series progressed, you hear the room kind of getting quieter and quieter. And I'm just like, yeah, that's what I like. I like to hear nothing. You know what I mean? So definitely felt good for the boys on that one. Cloud9, I was interested that they got 3-0'd by Nemesis as well, because Cloud9 kind of was looking like a return to form in a lot of ways for those boys, trying to validate kind of the team change that they made. And I feel like they did that. So good on them for finishing out top 8. Do got to mention like 3 out of the top 6 teams were from our pool at this event. So shout out to TSM and Nemesis digging deep and finding their way back, from pools. It goes to show like we really didn't have like the easy pool everyone thought we were trying to get an easy pool. I don't think that's what they were trying to do, but pretty interesting to see that kind of dominance from the rest of the pool folks. I'm really interested to see what Omen's going to do, man. Honestly, just such a troubled team. Lethal was going nuts this event. I don't know if you watched or were looking at the stats at all, but he was like
No.
top dragon on their team, like crazy, like by a lot. Sparty's way too good to be getting top 12. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so you got to start asking some questions and seeing what moves can be made there.
Yeah, I definitely think that Omit didn't look like themselves. I even walked up to like after we like finished our match against them and we did our fist bumps and everything, packed up and walked over, and I told Sparty, I was like, you guys are way too good to look like this. Like you guys have too much friendship, you guys have too much individual talent to look like this. Like against us, you guys looked like you weren't confident. And I didn't point it out, but like there was a play on the opening break of the Fortress Flag, which I think was map 1, and we win the OS fight. So I think we 3 dead them. Ryan has overshield. He's running to their side, and we know Spartan has sniper in their tower. Instead of like just being strong in their tower and like, you know, maybe putting some shots on OS or trying to pick off a spawner, like, you know, somebody who's like in our base or whatever, or just wasting ammo and being strong and being annoying in their tower because that's such a power position, right? He like tried to run away down the tower ramp, missed one shot on Ryan, and then immediately turned his back, and Ryan made him one shot and then was like, he's gonna play sniper, I'm leaving him. And he didn't even chase him down. He didn't chase down the one shot. He just turned with OS and pulled the flag and started the run, while Tyler or Spartan like played sniper, like without being shot or pressured by Ryan at all, and then went and lived elbow. And like that is the kind of thing where it's like, okay, you're not confident. Like you're not confident in your team. You're not confident in something. And so that's why I went up to him afterwards. I was like, I love you boys. Like I need to see some confidence out of you guys. Like obviously I'm on this side of this. I was rooting against you because I'm trying to beat you, but like now that you have the rest of the pool, like you guys got to play SSG, like play with some freaking confidence.
Yeah,
you guys are so good.
Yeah, so good individually. I don't know. They're gonna have to figure some stuff out for sure. Back to the lab for them, but yeah. And then it goes through. We end up losing to Optic 3-1 in the end. Optic ends up losing to Shopify in the end. But overall, really fun event. Lots of fun Halo that I watched. Shout out to VTH again. I was rooting for those guys. They put on a good show. Tough draw to have to face Ether to make it out. Unfortunate that they did not. Really great seeing you always. You know what I mean? We got to vibe and hang out. How was the card draw? You said you were gonna hit some shops afterwards. Did you end up finding anything good?
I visited a couple local card shops. One place was actually really cool. It was like a Japanese claw machine shop / card shop. So they had like a whole wall, like L-shaped wall of claw machines, and you just like buy tokens and you can play the claw machines, and they're all like 1 token each unless the prizes are crazy. And then they have like, you know, sealed product and Pokemon cards and stuff. The other 2 were more like one was like a board game shop that also sold cards. And so like it was like tucked back in like the bottom of the like level of this building, but it was massive. And they had like more, like it looked like a Barnes and Nobles inside with how many board games they had. And then like there was a ton of tables, and there was like 20-30 people in there just playing. Like I think there was like a tournament going on for Magic the Gathering or something.
Nice.
Massive like nerd fest, but like those are my people, so I like it was really cool to see everyone having a good time. But yeah, everything's kind of expensive in Salt Lake City, so I tried to like be conservative, not buy too much. But yeah, it was a good time, good way to spend some time on Sunday, and then watch.
Well, I'm glad we're back here, back on the show. It's been a couple weeks for me, which is not the norm. Apologies again for my schedule being crazy, but glad we could reconnect, reconvene. Looking forward to seeing how the team continues to grow and push forward and find more of that consistency. You know, we already said we're not making a change, but presuming other people do, that always throws a wrench in their continuity. And the more we can stay together, the more we can stay a unit and build and learn from our losses and grow and get reps in, the more we'll be ready for that next time we're in that, you know, teetering game and make the right moves in the right place. So shout out to the squad. Hope the boys are, you know, enjoying a little bit of a breather, but we got to get right back to it. Got to keep striking while the iron's hot, and you know, hopefully we will see the results that I think that you've been deserving of, Nick, this entire time it's been out. You've put in so much effort and so much work, and so I'm hoping to see everything closed out in a bang for you, man.
Yeah, I can't let Halo end with you out coaching me. Like that's just Nah, I'm
I'm
just kidding.
retiring from coaching now. My average coaching placing is going to be real nice. You could win the next event and you still wouldn't have an average placing of 3. So
That's true.
I think I'm in the clear there.
That's very true. No, I just want to like I want to win an event. I want to make a Sunday. I want that coach of the event award. Like, and there's only 2 events left to do it, right? So hopefully we can do it for the big one, if anything. But shout out to Hurt in the chat saying Volt Comics. Yeah, I stopped by Volt Comics. That place was sick.
I'm wearing the shirt that Hurt gave me right now. He gave me this shirt. Let's go.
Oh, did he? Nice.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. What a guy.
Yeah, week break, and then we're back to the grind. And LVT match next whatever day, Wednesday, I think.
Sounds good. We can't wait to see you guys there. Hopefully you guys will tune in for that match and support the boys. Be sure to follow all the Complexity Halo stuff. Go out and get the new bundle. I can't believe we haven't talked about that. New Complexity bundle in the shop. Go out and grab it. That skin is sick. That shock rifle model is sick. I'm still waiting for Nick to send me mine. But until I get that, I will continue to rep and push it. Go out and grab the Complexity bundle. Thank you guys so much for all the support on the show as well. We just stopped counting episodes because we just have so much fun doing this. We just know we're going to be doing it regardless. So appreciate you guys all tuning in and hanging out. And with that being said, I've been HunterJjX. This has been Ashes, and thank you guys so much for tuning in, watching Opening Break. We'll see you guys right here next week. Same time, same place. Peace, guys.